Hi, everybody. We're live. It's Royce in the house on our vinyl album unboxing show, and I've got my esteemed colleague Caitlin Stoddard with me, and Caitlin's got a
Hi.
show. Hi, Caitlin, and Caitlin's got Caitlin's Corner. If you haven't done anything lately, have you, Caitlin?
No, not yet. We're revving up. We're getting back
Oh,
into it. It's going to be
yeah.
happening soon. It's going to be uploaded on my YouTube channel and on Buzzsprout. Hey,
Okay. Good.
Scott.
Good.
Hey guys.
Hey,
What's up?
Scott. And Scott. Caitlin just talked about her channel a little bit. Cheers, buddy. Rum and Coke here. What are you doing right now? I saw that you were in Joshua Tree.
Oh, can I have
Oh no.
some?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, give me
yeah.
some of that. I want that, Scott.
Yeah.
You know that is such a
I
good
want
whiskey.
that.
I mean, it competes with all the good scotches, to be honest with you. You
Yeah, I
know.
love it. It's great.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I like it too. So what have you been doing? I saw that you were in Joshua Tree laying down some drum tracks. I was kind of following that as you were posting it on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, a friend of mine actually that's originally from the West Coast
Okay.
moved out to Woodstock area, and someone that's actually I'm very, very close to introduced me to this person. And they basically I started playing with them a little bit, and
Okay.
they basically asked me if I would be interested in flying out to Joshua Tree to Rancho de la Luna studio to record with
Yeah,
them.
that's right.
So that's what I did. And so I went out there last week for about 7 days. I recorded 3 of those days with them,
Wow.
5 tracks. And I don't know how many tracks are going to actually, I did 5 tracks and then I did 3 jams with them. I'm not sure how long, or how many tracks I'm actually going to be on in the end because she has other
Right.
drummers there as well.
Sure.
But it was a really cool experience. Who's producing it is Al Johannes. I don't know if you know who he is, but he was in a band called 11 that were pretty big in the early 90s, and
No, I'm not familiar.
yeah, he grew up with the Red Hot Chili Peppers guys. He has a long story. So he
Okay.
was from LA, and basically ended up producing a lot of people. He produced No Doubt, and he produced PJ Harvey, Chris Cornell's Euphoria Morning record. So he's been pretty busy, the last 25 years doing.
Wow.
He was also in Them Crooked Vultures. I'm not sure if you know what that is, but that was Dave Grohl
No.
on drums. That's
Oh, okay.
Dave Grohl on drums, Al on guitar, Josh
Okay.
Homme, who's from Queens of the Stone Age out front, and John Paul
Wow.
Jones playing bass from Led
Oh,
Zeppelin.
John Paul Jones on bass, huh?
Yeah.
Sweet
Yep.
one.
Yeah, John Paul Jones, he was a hell of a studio musician long before Led Zeppelin. He was considered one of the best musicians in England.
Yeah, he's amazing.
So,
So
yeah.
so I got to play with those guys, and the Rancho de la Luna studio is owned by Dave Catching. Dave Catching was in Eagles of Death Metal and also on the Desert Sessions and part of Queens of the Stone Age as well. So they're all kind of part of the desert Joshua Tree scene,
Yeah.
kind of stoner rock stuff. Yeah, so I got flown out there. It was a really cool experience to play in this big studio. It was a little nerve-wracking,
Oh, yeah.
and intimidating, but it was cool. It was really
Well,
fun.
you described it as the famous Joshua Tree studio. Has it been there for a long time?
Yeah, it's been there since the early 90s.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Yep. Yeah, and a lot of bands have played
it's
there.
hard to think about the 90s being a long time ago, but they are.
I know. Yeah, there was a lot of really cool artists that have recorded there. If you look up
Right.
Rancho de la Luna Studios up on Wikipedia or anywhere else on the internet, you'll see all the bands that recorded there.
Oh, okay. That'd be fun. I think I'll do that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be fun.
Arctic Monkeys. There's a lot of bands that have recorded there. Those guys are super, super sweet, super nice,
Okay.
and really cool to work with. It was a really cool experience. And I'm back. So,
Great.
I
Oh,
got to go
good.
out to Joshua Tree State Park and hang out there a little bit and enjoy. If you've never been out there, that's an amazing thing to, experience.
No, I haven't been there, and it's not really probably not that far from me either. The high
Yeah,
desert. So.
it's definitely something that I would suggest everyone to go experience sometime in their life. I know people that have camped there. I would have liked to spend more time there. I was only there for a few hours walking around.
Right, right.
But it's definitely something that you'd want to do the full day. But we were very lucky. We had really nice weather. It was 75 degrees and sunny during the whole week. It didn't drop yet. Now it's dropping. I think the weather out there now is like in the 50s, but it was like 75 degrees when we were there. Not a cloud in the sky, nice. 40 at night or 50 at night. So it was a great time and it was a really cool experience. Thanks for asking. So it was fun.
Okay, great. That sounds great. Well, tonight we're, I don't know how much you can say about the Beatles that hasn't already been said. There's just so much information out there, but this is the Beatles show, and I know my Beatles collection has grown since the last time I talked about the Beatles online, and it's a funny thing because when I start listening to the Beatles, I start thinking like they've always been one of my all-time favorites, and then I start listening to maybe Led Zeppelin or some of the other bands, the Rolling Stones. And all of a sudden, well, no, they were my all-time favorite. I mean, I'm at a point in my life where I don't think I can choose an all-time favorite. I always tell everybody that I always rank Hendrix and Zeppelin up at the very top tier. But just below that, I'm not saying very far below that, is a huge group that on any given day can be my favorite. I mean, there's so much good music out there. And I was, the Beatles were... well, they were formed in Liverpool. They're an English band, obviously. What am I going to say that people don't know? Formed in Liverpool in 1960, and they were only active from 60 to 70. And looking back now, that's kind of hard to imagine. And I realize that solo acts they went on, but I mean, as the band, the Beatles, they broke up in 1970. And I don't know if anybody really knows why. Maybe 10 years was just long enough to be together and put up with one another. I know Yoko Ono got blamed a lot, John Lennon's wife, for breaking them up, but I don't know that that's the truth. She just happened to be wrong place at the right time to get the blame for it. But you get tired of playing with the same old folks. And that's what I've heard.
Yeah, they were breaking away. They were breaking away from each other at a certain point. Did you Get Back? Did you watch Get Back yet?
No, I wanted to talk about that too. The Disney Channel, and all three of the episodes have already played. The first one was on Thanksgiving, the 25th. The next one was the 26th, the following day, and the third episode. It was an 8 hours documentary, 3 episodes.
Right.
And it was over with by November 27th. I didn't have the Disney Channel. I was tempted, just for this, but it's probably the wrong reason to grab another channel when I've already got so much stuff like that I'm paying for every month, because we don't want, I have Netflix. I would tell you that I probably watch maybe, at the most, one next Netflix movie a month. We just don't, the TV seems to be going 24 hours a day, but we're just not watching that much, It's just going, And anyway, I long for the days of Sons of Anarchy and shows like that I really enjoyed,
Right.
And of course, back when MTV actually played music videos, not just ridiculousness.
Great day.
That played all day long in my house, and we loved it. Me, Betty, and all three of the little girls all loved it. We really were into that. And I don't get it today. I just don't get why it's gone. Maybe it's too expensive to show these videos. You got to pay the artist so much. I don't even know. Why would they just diss that and just have ridiculousness 90% of the time? And I watch it every once in a while, and I'm always left feeling exactly the same way. I don't get it,
Yeah, it's definitely an advertising thing too. So they're definitely making a lot of money for the shows and stuff like that. I think there's more going towards, I don't know. The whole thing about MTV, I have mixed feelings about it because, MTV, growing up with it, I had it since '81, and it was very influential on my life and everything.
Oh, yeah.
As a musician and as a fan and everything. But, once the shows came in, like Real World and all that kind of stuff, it kind of, that kind of all killed everything that we knew, and it kind of morphed into M2, and then M2 played music and MTV didn't. But the thing is that I have to say about MTV is that, like, about the reality shows, is that they were kind of the first ones to do that. And it's like they kind of changed the game. Like, you know, they changed the game with music videos and stuff. Like, there was nothing like that before. I mean, you'd have to watch like Night Flight and these, you know, nighttime shows and stuff to be able to get videos before MTV ended up being on the air and then ended up being 24 hours. Same thing is, like, they're innovative in the way that, like, you did this thing with the reality shows that nobody was doing, and then all of a sudden everyone did reality shows. So I have to give them
really
that.
Took off. Yeah, they absolutely took off. But I mean, country music television was around when MTV was doing music videos, and you still have CMT. They're still doing the same thing they've done.
Of
and
course, no,
yeah,
totally, I agree. I mean, there's definitely all the stuff that, like, been, you know, technology changed, things went by way of YouTube and other different types of platforms of, you know, video and stuff like that. So I mean, everything is all there. You know, there's all these, like, you know, new kids that are, like, getting into, like, different types of music, like rock, you know, anything from the 80s and or even the 70s and stuff like that, or like they, you know, they feel like that they didn't experience it the first hand or whatever. Like, oh, it would have been great.
That's exactly right.
You know, but they can go to YouTube and they can experience it. You can, I mean, which is great is that, like, you can dial up like any concert now and it's there, you know.
That's right.
You know, we couldn't do that, you know, growing up. It's like we'd have to sit there, you know, with MTV and that, and, you know, in that early time, we'd have to sit there and wait. Like radio was, like, you'd sit and listen to a radio station or a show, and then all of a sudden, like, you'd wait for your, you know, your song to play. Same thing with MTV, you know. But now you can just call it all up. You don't, you know, everything's on demand. So
everything's on demand. Yeah, you can get anything you want on YouTube. You know, you just do a search and there it is. You can play, you know, you can play everything, whole albums, single songs, whatever you want to play. Exactly. But anyway, so let's get back to the Beatles here. Yeah, you know, you know, I've tried to find out if there was ever going to be another place to watch the documentary Get Back, and everything I've read so far says no. It's only on Disney. Now, does Disney have like an on-demand channel where you can go to their, you know, the stuff they've already played and
it's not. It's not. Yeah, it's not. I mean, the app, like through Roku, it's the same thing like anything else, like Hulu or whatever. It's the same thing. You can buy it so you can watch those Beatles, you know, 3 episodes like on demand.
Okay. No, I think I would really enjoy that. You know, I was in the 6th grade when the British invasion hit, and the Beatles came to town. And you know, I know I've showed this before, but on the Beatles' first American tour, this was the band that opened for them. Crinkle. Now look at the spelling. Circle. I'm sorry. Look at the spelling of circle. Cyrkle. John Lennon gave him that spelling.
Really?
Yeah, John, and they opened for the Beatles in their first American tour. Circle.
Oh, awesome.
They had a big hit with the song Red Rubber Ball, something like the yellow sun was shining like a red rubber ball. It was a big hit. I remember hearing it over and over again, but I didn't know until the last year or so that was Circle, and they were opening for the Beatles. So anyway, so that's a pretty cool little bit of trivia there. And there's actually more here. Let's see. I think it was Paul Simon that wrote that song for him, actually.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't want to read this whole thing and make a record about that.
That's cool. Wait, Royce, is that a reissue?
I'm sorry?
What you showed just before that Red Rubber Ball record, is that a reissue? Or is that an original copy that you have?
The Red Rubber Ball? The Circle? No, that's original. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's an original. This is from my friend's collection, whose mother worked at Columbia down here in Santa Maria, 55 miles from here.
That's awesome.
Columbia pressing plant, where I got some crazy things. So I'm going to show a couple of things here to start out with. This, I grew up with this album, and this is an original pressing. I have my original copy over here, but I mean, there's been drawing all over it and everything like that. I accuse my brother, he accuses me. I'm not sure who did it, but it's a cover without even an album anymore. So when I came across this in Cayucas at an antique store, and I know the owner there, and he goes to LA and he goes to all these places and he brings back stuff. And this is an original pressing of A Hard Day's Night. And this is cool because this is some real nice vintage stuff, you know. A Hard Day's Night, one of the songs, and I Love Her, you know. Bright are the stars that shine. I mean, I used to play that first little thing on the guitar. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I should have known better, and I Love Her. Ringo's theme, This Boy. Can't Buy Me Love, A Hard Day's Night. I mean, this is the stuff that I remember from the early beginning, you know, A Hard Day's Night. And everybody loved the Beatles. I used to travel to my cousin's house in California, 6th, 7th grade, and I was from Vegas, and all my cousins lived in California, and they came to our house a lot because it was Vegas, you know. But we'd go to their house too in the summer times, and me and my cousin Johnny would argue. He would argue that the Beach Boys were the best and had the best songs, and I would argue in favor of the Beatles. And we'd go tit for tat throwing songs out at each other, and it usually wind up a tie, you know, because there were so many songs by both of them. But I was a big Beatles fan, you know, and the Beatles. I mean, there were so many bands in the British Invasion. There's top 100s, not top 10s or 20s or 50s. There's top 100 British Invasion bands. That's how many bands hit here, you know, from England. And it was just a crazy time. And we loved them all. I mean, the Beatles, you know, Eric Burdon and the Animals, the Rolling Stones, Dave Clark 5. I mean, the list just went on and on and on. In fact, I've got a Dave Clark 5 album, an old one. And so we had, you know, the Monkees. We had a lot of fun listening to that stuff. We loved every one of them. Jerry and the Pacemakers, Ferry Across the Mersey, you know. I mean, there was so many of them. They were all really, really good. But the Beatles were always kind of on top. Somewhere in junior high, people started saying, well, the Rolling Stones are, you know, they're a little different. They're a little heavier, you know. And so then it was kind of a toss-up. Was it the Beatles or was it the Rolling Stones? And we all liked both of them, don't get me wrong. I mean, today, what would I say? I have a lot of nostalgia, feelings of nostalgia towards both of them. And I love both bands, but I would I might have to fall down on the side of the Rolling Stones, you know, as far as if I had to choose one over the other, you know. But probably not by much, you know. And the Beatles these are bands that are never going to go away. I mean, they're simply never ever going to go away, you know. And I was reading, you know, top 10 songs, top 5 albums, and so one of the lists I read of the top 5 albums, I decided I have all 5 of them, so I decided I'd pull them out along with some others. So anyway, so that's A Hard Day's Night and Circle with Red Rubber Ball. And what I'm going to do now is, and I don't want to just go, you know, I've got quite a few albums here, Beatles albums, and I don't really want to show all of them, but I'll show a couple, and then I just want to pass the mantle around, you know, and everybody can talk about the Beatles, show an album, talk about a favorite song, a favorite album. So the list that I like that I read started out with Rubber Soul. We're talking top 5 albums.
I love that record. Yeah.
So Rubber Soul was on the top of the list, and there's great songs here, you know. Michelle, what a great song. In My Life, that's a great song too. Girl, It's Only Love. Okay. I've just seen a Face. Anyway, this is a great album. I mean, as far as I know, there's not an album in my stack. Of course, some of them are new, never been opened, but there's not an album in my stack here that doesn't have absolutely pristine vinyl. I mean, not a scratch on any one of them. You know, yeah. And I'll be surprised if I find one of them in here that has a scratch on it, because I realize I've bought albums with scratches on them that they play right through. You don't even hear the scratches. And I've learned that I don't have to be that picky if I'm looking for something and I find it, you know. But at the same time, if I can find it unscratched, I'm buying that one, you know.
That's a great record.
Pardon me? I was real happy when I found that Hard Day's Night original pressing. And the next one that was on that list, and I'm going to stop at this one for a while so we can get everybody involved. But the next one that was on that list was Revolver.
Great record.
Yeah.
Yeah, great record, Revolver. And what I like about this one is once again, this is an original press.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. Oh, it's got one of those labels with the sticky flap I usually get rid of after I buy. Okay, so Revolver, and I'll tell you, this has some great songs on it, you know. I mean, you've got Taxman. I love that song. I paid so much in taxes, and they're still hounding me. Eleanor Rigsby. Okay, let's see. Love You Too. Yellow Submarine. What a fun song. I don't know how many thousands of times I've sang that song. Yellow Submarine.
Yellow Submarine.
Yeah, we all live in a
Yellow Submarine.
good day, sunshine. And your bird can sing. Dr. Robert. I want to tell you, got to get you out of my life, and tomorrow never knows. So anyway, the nice thing about this is it is an original pressing by none other than Parlophone. And I always feel real fortunate whenever I come up with the Parlophone. I've got 2 Parlophone original pressings. This one as well as Help. And yeah. And they're both in perfect condition. I don't even remember where I got them anymore. I've had them so long now. But so that's Revolver. And I think I'm going to stop right there. And Kate, have you got something you'd like to unbox for us and talk about a little bit?
Yeah, well, I'm just excited. I'm finally back to my records so I can show you guys, you know, what I collect. You know, I don't have it as much as you guys, but you know, I take pride with what I collect. You know, I have
absolutely. From
jazz to blues to rock, so it's awesome to collect a lot of stuff. It's nostalgic. So I'm gonna go with something. I have an original pressing, believe it or not.
Oh, good. No, we believe it.
Oh boy! So I went to Greeley. I live of course, in Greeley, and all of our record stores shut down. So I live about 30 minutes away from Boulder, or about 20 minutes away from Fort Collins, where they have record stores. And I found this one at, I can't remember what Boulder it's called, but it's a great place. If I lived there, I would go there every single day. But this is Beatles 65.
Oh yeah. That's good. Very nice.
Yeah, I'm surprised. You know, it's like they have this for sale, and it looks so good in nice condition. I'm like, why would you put it on sale? You crazy?
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like you're nuts.
Totally. I hear you. I went into a store 3 days ago, and I actually bought a couple things, but there was about 15 things I wanted. I couldn't go there. You know, I mean, I could not believe how much great stuff was in this antique store in Cayucas, California. You know, I mean, they had 2 great Stones albums I wanted. I mean, it just went on and on and on. I was just losing my mind completely. And it was like, you know, you just can't go out and spend hundreds of dollars every week or 2 weeks or even a month. It's, you know, I mean, it's just too expensive, you know.
Definitely. It is, you know, it's not cheap, but I tell you though, it's hard to leave a store when you see so many records you really want, but you know, you can't have them yet.
I know.
So here, I'm going to show you the record mint. So side 1 is No Reply, I'm a Loser, Babies in Black, Rock and Roll Music, I'll Follow the Sun, Mr.
Yeah, I love that.
Side 2, Honey Don't, I'll Be Back, She's a Woman, I Feel Fine, and Trying to Be My Baby.
Those are good songs.
Cool.
And I think my mother, out of all people, my mother talked me into getting this record too. Only for herself, but she has the only record player. Oh, you want that record? I'm like, fine. But I'm not
right.
But here it is. Just
That's cool.
Okay.
Capital, if you can see it. It's like right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it's,
nice. Beatles 65.
It sounds amazing on my
65.
record.
That was the height of the British invasion. 65.
I love it. It's just nothing beats it. Sometimes just
right.
Music on that record player feels like they're still alive, and they're just blowing your mind with amazing sound.
Right.
And then, so I have a lot of I guess you say represses, so they're not original, but they mean their music's just extraordinary on these records. So I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah.
if I grunt, it's because of my bad shoulder and elbows. So that's
Okay.
so don't mind me.
Okay.
That's not new. So I'm gonna go with my all-time favorite record, and it's the Whiteout
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, you have a White Album.
of all
Look at
time.
that.
And
Nice.
so, and what I like about, I think, I always felt like the Beatles were, like a creative band. They always found a way to touch people's lives through their different ways of music, whether it was
Oh
with
yeah. Yeah.
or just basic rock and roll, or even the blues if they wanted to. It's just like
I
they
know.
reach people, and especially with the White Album, I really felt like they really did touch a lot of souls through their music.
Yeah.
And this is a big gatefold, so if it looks crooked, I'm sorry. I'm trying my best. There we go. See that?
Yep.
That's what that looks like. Now I'm going to show you something really cool. This is my favorite part about this album, and I want to get these framed once I find them. They're in here. I saw them earlier. There they are. They're all little individual pictures of the band.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
No. Yeah.
Cool.
Like that. I want to get these framed. I think this would be really cool framed.
Totally.
Yeah, and then you got the nice. This is my favorite one, the Ringo one. I like this one.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a nice one. Then of course, that's George. My bad. It's been a long day. Forgive me. Yeah, there he is. That's probably the best one of them, I think. Then you got your Ringo, and then you got, of course, the legend, one of the main legends, Mr. John Lennon. I definitely want to frame for
Mr. John Lennon. Yeah.
Mr. John Lennon, and it's like I went to Barnes and Noble for this. I didn't expect to find these in here, and I thought it was really cool. So I've been keeping these as much as possible so I could get them framed. And now I'm going to show you.
Now, where did you get your White Album at?
Yeah, hang on a second. I'll get out. That's a poster, but here I'll show you.
Yeah.
I'll show you record. It's just the Apple logo.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how the White Album is.
Yep. So I just want to show you one more thing. This came with it. It's like a poster.
Oh yeah.
It has like all the lyrics and stuff. So I'm like a
Right.
snake, but it's a poster and it has like all the lyrics
Cool.
and stuff. It has like pictures of the band and so forth.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. Very nostalgic and very nice to have as a record collector to have stuff like this.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
Now,
that's a numbered copy?
I honestly don't know how you know that.
Well, the numbers are they're stamped. They're stamped onto the cover.
Oh, look at that.
And the reason I know that is because I also have a White Album right here. Right here where my finger is, they're stamped. They're not embossed really. It's kind of hard finding. Well, maybe slightly embossed. But the numbers, mine's number 70,000.
70,000?
And then you can see the Beatles is embossed. You can feel the Beatles across the cover. But when they're numbered, they're stamped there. Yeah.
Only thing
I was just curious. It doesn't matter. I mean,
matter to me. It's still nostalgic in some ways.
Right.
I guess I'll show you another thing because I know I'm taking too long. Oh goodness. It's probably my personal favorite. It's the person Lonely Hearts Band.
Oh yeah. I love that album. Well, go ahead. I mean, you've got the mic right now. I was just going to say that when I was 15 years old, my older brother used to invite me and my friends out to smoke weed at his apartment in Las Vegas. He was a craps dealer, and half the time we'd hitchhike out there. And he would always play Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and then he loved that so much. And I have right here, I have his original copy of that. My brother passed away in his late 40s. He was 9 years older than me, but we'd hitchhike out to his house, me and my friends, and listen to Sgt. Pepper's, and then Magical Mystery Tour came out. We'd listen to that, and he was a big fan of the Cream. And when Blind Faith when Eric Clapton moved into Blind Faith, he bought me the Blind Faith album for my 16th birthday and stuff like that. But that's when I was really bonding with my older brother. Being 9 years older than me, I didn't even know I had an older brother. He showed up from New Mexico when I was like 5 years old and was riding me around around the neighborhood on his back, and I was like, "This guy come from? Should have been here sooner." But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. No, I like the story. I love it. And so it's cool. This is something kind of cool. They have these Sgt. Pepper cutouts, which I do not dare to do, but like a little art piece to come out.
Oh, wow, no, that came out of Sgt. Pepper's.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Copy of Sgt. Pepper's, and then there's this little booklet right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. It has like a lot of nifty information about it. It tells you where it was recorded and so forth. Yeah.
That was a great album. I mean, it was one of the it came out at a time when maybe the Beatles were, there was so much heavier bands had been coming out, and people were kind of, the Beatles were on top for a few years. No disputing that. But then there was an ebb and flow to their popularity because there were so many new great bands coming out that everybody's really digging on. But when Sgt. Pepper's came out, it was kind of like boosting them back up, and it was just a great album. I love that album.
I'm sorry, my body's having a love and hate with this Maramis, but it's a love and hate relationship with what I have. One that you feel fine next time. Take what you get. Yeah, I guess I'll show you the record.
Our buddy in the chat, Robert Rowe, Rock and Roll Podcast, he's getting ready to have a Beatles show also.
Yeah. I read that. Yeah, and Robbie's there. Is Robbie still in the chat?
Yeah.
Robbie's there.
Yeah, maybe Robbie's here. Oh, Parlophone. Now, which one is this?
Parlophone?
Yeah. I mean, which album was it?
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Band.
Okay, right on. Okay.
And this is just amazing on my record player. It's just, such beautiful music. But other than that, everything you pulled out, I have remastered. But I do have Abbey Road remastered, and I will say too, that's probably one of their best records up there. I think I'm trying very hard to get was it the Let Be album? I can't remember which one. Yeah, thank you. The Let Be. Yeah, I'm trying very hard to get. I just haven't gotten to it yet, but I'd love to have that in my record collection. So, but other than that, I have on my end for you guys.
Okay, Scott, what have you got to talk about and show us here with the Beatles?
I didn't actually bring anything. I mean, I have a couple. Okay. I have some. I definitely have. The later Beatles records on vinyl. Magic Mystery Tour Forward. Abbey Road's my favorite Beatles record for sure.
Is it good?
Yeah, that album is just classic. I just feel like that. They always were kind of pushing forward in their sound and trying to, come up with different stuff. And
that's right.
Like that, the collaboration of everyone together on that record kind of matured. It's a very mature record for them.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's right.
Everyone was really, all the songs that are on that record, everything to me is amazing. And it's really cool to watch the new special that came out on Disney because
you got to see that?
Yeah, I watched.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch all of it, but I watched much of it, and definitely the first 2 episodes, not the third one yet. But it's really cool to watch them, interact together. They're different, It always seemed as if they all had very, very high regard for each other. They really loved each other, even though, it's a family and you're working together with people and people break away. And, John was with Yoko and not as involved with the songwriting and everything like that or whatever. But it's really cool to watch their interaction. It just seemed as if they have a very, very high regard and love for each other. Really, that's what I got in the end, even though that there was, whatever strife that happens between bands, when they're working hard, there's, they were the biggest band in the world, so you have all this, pressures of life and stuff. But But anyway, I mean, I started listening to the Beatles, you know, probably in my, you know, like 10 years old, 11 years old. All the
Okay.
pop stuff, you know, that was the earlier stuff that Help and all that kind of thing or whatever that was going on, you know, the earlier
Right.
records, you know, Let Me Hold Your Hand, you know, I Want to Hold Your Hand,
Right.
all these older songs or whatever. But like they really kind of really started touching me when I started really listening to and, you know, starting to do some psychedelics and stuff. And like, you know,
Right.
listening to Sergeant Pepper and how, you know, their sound kind of, I don't know, probably around Revolver time with Tomorrow Never Knows, that last song that's on that record kind of pushed them into the psychedelic realm where everything before that was kind of hinting towards it, you know. But once Tomorrow Never Knows hits, it's kind of like the ending to that album kind of opened up a new era for them as far as the psychedelia is concerned. So I do love the later Beatles stuff versus the, you know, the earlier Beatles output.
Yeah.
Even though the earlier Beatles output is amazing, it's still amazing.
Well,
great songwriting and everything, you know.
Yeah, and you have to put it in the context of what it was competing with for you know, audience too. You know, the early stuff, and it was really good. You know, I mean, it really held up well against everybody. You know.
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter whether someone has an album done box or not. I mean, you're a wealth of knowledge. We always enjoy listening to you talk about it.
No, thanks.
And yeah, no, totally. And well, I've got a couple more things I can show here. I actually have, you know, I was talking about that top 5 list of albums that I read. Well, one of them was this one.
Yep.
You know, Abbey Road.
That record. I love
it. Yeah, no, it's a great record, and nice sleeve here. Of course, the Apple label. They had 3 labels. They had Apple, Parlophone, and I guess Capitol, was it? Capitol, yeah.
It's Capitol. Okay,
so we've got the half apples, you know, the white one on one side and the green on the other side. And there's some great music on here. This is a good album. I like this a lot. And let's see, what do we have here? This is such a famous cover too, you know.
Yes.
And we have Come Together. What a great song. Come Together. Maxwell Silver Hammer. That's a funny song. Oh Darling, Octopus's Garden. I Want You. Here Comes the Sun. I love that song. Betty and I were in San Francisco years ago and walked into this little plaza, and there was some guy wearing a white robe with a long kind of sandy blonde hair and a big sandy blonde beard. He looked like Jesus. And he was standing up on a wall in this plaza playing Here Comes the Sun. You know, it was absolutely amazing. Great voice, great guitar player. Of course, in San Francisco, if you ever want to be humble and you think you're getting pretty good on an instrument, you go down there and there's people that are living on the streets playing 3 instruments at once, better than the one that you play. You know, and it's a very humbling experience. There's some great musicians out there. Then we have Mean Mr. Mustard, Polyethylene Pam. Let's see, Carry the Weight, The End, You Never Give Me Your Money. Well, that's sad. She never gives him his money. Okay. Anyway, so it's a great album. I'm going to put this back in the cover before something happens to it. This has got to be 180 gram vinyl because it's like a rigid here. And yeah, this was the anniversary edition of this album. And I didn't have one of these. I've had one before, but I didn't have one now, so I had to buy this when I saw it. And I might as well make mention now of, I kind of made mention of it already, but I also have a white album. And you have to look real close. You can see the Beatles is embossed. You can't really hardly see it, but you can feel it. Then the numbers stamped in here.
I don't have that.
And the nice thing about this is number 70,000. And 70,000 sounds like a really high number. And 70,000 is a high number. But in the context of 3 million having been produced, if you do the math, It's in the lowest 2% of numbers.
Huh.
Right.
I like telling that story. It makes it sound better. And yes, and once again, so I really scored when I found this. I just I can't, because whenever I find them, the poster's missing, the pictures are missing, and I've never found one that low of a number. But I've got it came with everything. It came,
Yeah.
and you can see the original pressings. The pictures weren't like card stock. They were kind of real flimsy stock.
Right.
And I'm telling you, I felt like when I unfolded this poster here, it was being unfolded for the first time, and I don't get it really, to be honest with you. Somebody took good care of it. And Ringo, Ringo, I'm really impressed with what Ringo's done, since the Beatles have broke. He's got to be like 80 years old, but I mean,
Yeah.
Sadly, John Lennon was assassinated at 40 years old.
Yeah, he
Think
was.
about how long ago that was now, 40 years ago,
1980.
Yeah, 1980, and he shot to death, December 8th, 1980, in front of his Manhattan apartment by Mark David Chapman. Did Chapman just recently get released from prison?
I don't know.
No,
Okay.
I think he's still in jail. I think.
I hope so. And he was actually a fan too. I mean, that kind of stuff just kind of drives me crazy.
Scary stuff. Things like that can happen for sure.
And then, of course, the poster here, I might as well unfurl it. Like I said, I've only unfolded this once before, and it honestly felt like it was the only time it ever been unfolded. Everything was crisp, no wrinkles, no tears. And it's like you said, Caitlin, the back side has all the songs, all the words.
Yeah. That's my favorite part about that poster art lyrics.
I got to put this away before I heard it.
Yeah, I was too afraid to unfold mine.
Okay, so then the vinyl, there's all kinds of clues, okay, well, just like yours, just got the pictures of the guys here. There's not much for a gatefold. It really, the reason for the gatefold, really more than anything else, the whole two albums. But these are original pressings, and there's all kinds of little things that you have to look for when you're trying to be sure that it's an original pressing. One of them is etched into the vinyl, and let me see if I can find it here. I haven't studied this, since the first time I did this. It's like there's a code that's etched into the vinyl. I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking for it, but let's see. It's SW. Okay. SWB. Okay, it's too hard to read right now. But anyway, that was one of the indicators when I researched this. What guarantees that it was an original? And also on the there's a semicircle around the half apple that mentions I think it's capital, and that's also kind of an indicator. But anyway, so these are really cool albums. We've got great songs on here. Martha, My Dear, I'm So Tired, Blackbird. I like that song, Blackbirds, singing in the dead of night. Rocky Raccoon. Why Don't We Do It in the Road? Let's see. What's on the other side here? Okay, Back in the USSR, Dear Prudence, Glass Onion, Obla-dee, Obla-da, Life Goes On, yeah. Wild Money Pie. Okay. Let's see. Bungalow Bill. What did you kill? Bungalow Bill. Okay. Anyway, really cool classic songs, and I mean, this is a 2-album set. There's 2 albums here, and oh my God. Now back down to 1 album. Let's see. I keep finding this, and everything's missing. Everything's missing when I find it on the inside. Birthday. I'll skip around a little bit here. Everybody's got something to hide but me and my monkey. Okay. Monroe, the Vinyl Unicorns over there making a lot of noise. Revolution. What a great song. Honey Pie,
Yep.
Savoy Truffle, Cry Baby, Revolution 2, and Good Night. Okay. Okay. So that's those. That's those. That's my White Album unboxing. I'm not going to put it away right now. It'll take too much time. I'll carefully set it to the side over here. Okay, so what else do I want to show? I've got a couple of other things I can show. Let's see. I've got some notes here too. I had that top 5 albums, you know, Rubber Soul, Revolver, Abbey Road, White Album, and Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. The only one I didn't show was Sgt. Pepper's, but Kate showed that. And then as far as like top 10 songs, I mean, everybody's got their own opinion. Same with top 5 albums, you know, but so I just took Rolling Stone magazine's top 10 songs, and I think I'll just read through them here quickly. While My Guitar Gently Weeps. That's a great, great George Harrison song. And he never completed that song until he got Eric Clapton to come on and play slide guitar on that, you know. And so that was a really cool song. And George Harrison had helped Eric Clapton when he was writing a song Badge, you know, for Cream Disraeli Gears. And so Eric returned the favor and came on and played slide guitar. Hold on, excuse me. Yeah, I had to shut my door on Monroe. She's getting so annoying. So, like I said, Eric Clapton and George Harrison. Well, it was actually Eric Clapton with George Harrison and Ringo Starr, and they were kidding around about how easy it was for them to write hit songs. It's kind of like whatever they write, people buy it. And so they started writing a hit song together, and it was called Bridge. And Ringo was in the room, and he was drinking, getting a little high, you know, and he goes, "Oh, so you got a name for it already, dude?" And he looked at the piece of paper that they were writing notes on, and he read Bridge upside down. He goes, "Oh, you're going to call it Badge?" And they go, "Okay." They changed the name to Badge because Ringo read it upside down as Badge, you know. And they got stuck in the lyrics. They couldn't figure out how to go any further with. It was something about a girl whose name was Mabel or something like that. We're losing Scott, and
Sorry.
He's buffering. And anyway, so Ringo threw out something about, you know, a girl whose name is Mabel, and they go, great idea. And so everybody was just throwing things out, and it turned out to be a hit song, you know. And so anyway, so George Harrison tapped Eric Clapton for some slide guitar work on While My Guitar Gently Weeps. So that I love that song. That's one of, as far as I'm concerned, one of my favorite songs of the Beatles. And then A Day in the Life, I Want to Hold Your Hand. This is the top 10 from Rolling Stone magazine. Strawberry Fields Forever, Yesterday, In My Life, Something, Hey Jude, Let It Be, and Come Together. So that was the Rolling Stone magazine. They have a top 100 too, but that was their top 10.
Well, what number was the Come Together? How high was that on the list?
It's actually down. It's actually at the bottom of the list. But I don't. They didn't necessarily say they were ranking them in order of greatness. It was just here's the top 10. But I would assume that, yeah. Well, with My Guitar, While My Guitar Gently Weeps being number 1, I would assume they were going from the top to the lowest. But that's only 10 songs. I mean, to be in the top 10 of Beatles songs is still fantastic.
Yeah, but, you know, I was thinking, like, I mean, I know, like, Come Together should be a little bit higher, though, in my opinion. But that's just me.
Yeah, no, that was a good song. Yeah. That was a good song. Okay, so John Lennon was killed December 8th, 1980. George Harrison died at the age of 58, which to me is still young. Lennon was 40, Harrison was 58. But he had a long battle with throat cancer. You know, it was finally in 2001, July 25th of 2001, where he finally died of cancer. Yeah. Okay, let me bring Scott back in. Hey, Scott.
Hey, what's up?
So we were just talking about George Harrison dying of throat cancer after a long battle where I think he thought he was clean, you know?
Yeah.
And then 2001, it just came back to bite him. We were talking about, you know how Harrison and Clapton collaborated on you know,
Right.
Israeli Gears, and then Clapton helped Harrison out on While My Guitar Gently Weeps by playing slide guitar for him, you know. And I haven't read one story where the Beatles were thinking about getting rid of George Harrison and replacing him with Eric Clapton, but I don't know if there's any truth to that, you know.
Yeah.
But I recently, just in the past week, we were talking about. I was talking about all the albums I found at this one store, this antique store in Cayucas, which is there's several antique stores locally here that have vendors that bring in vinyl and keep their shelves stocked. And I'm not talking about just a few albums. I'm talking about they may have 200 or 300, you know, in their 400, you know, and they're constantly updating. And I mean, I found all kinds of great Rolling Stones and things like that. But I went in there and I've been looking for a long time for a used Derek and the Dominoes, you know, Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
And that whole song kind of centered around Patty Boyd, George Harrison's ex-wife.
Yep.
A lot of the songs were about her, whether it was Layla or Bell Bottom Blues, they were always about her. And I guess, well, Eric Clapton actually married her for a while too, you know.
Right.
But anyway, that was interesting. It was so many stories I've read about the making of that album, and that's a great album. I've always wanted another copy of that. I had I think an 8-track a long time ago, and also John Mayall featuring Eric Clapton. I want a copy of that too. And they're both available new right now. And I've been eyeballing the new Derek and the Dominoes I've been seeing advertised. And then this used one came up, and I grabbed it. You know, and it's a double album set. It's in really good condition too.
Nice.
Plays really clean. But anyway, so we were talking about all that. We talked about Disney, and I read what Rolling Stone magazine's top 10 Beatles songs were. They went from started out with While My Guitar Gently Weeps, went all the way down to Come Together, and they're all great songs. And I think any fan of the Beatles would make a different list of 10 of their top 10 songs. So anyway,
absolutely.
The Beatles, for only being active for 10 years as a band, have really impacted all of our lives. I mean, you know, like nothing I've ever seen before, I don't think. But I've got some other. I'm not going to open all these up, but I'll show some of them. I've got Beatles 65. Nice. I've got the early Beatles.
Nice, I like that one.
That's great.
Yeah, and you know what? Years ago, I can't remember the year. I had all these notes down before. There was somebody decided to make some bootleg Beatles compilations, and of course they got sued and they had to stop. But it showed the Beatles and their management people that there's a market for compilations. So the Beatles, right after that, came out with two great compilations, and one was called the Blue Album, and one was called the Red Album.
Oh,
yeah, both of those are great.
When I first got the Blue Album and I read it and I unboxed the Beatles one other time, I said if I had to choose only one album of the Beatles to listen to for the rest of my life, it may just be the Blue Album, you know, because it's a compilation with so many great songs on it, you know.
Definitely.
And,
yep.
And we're gonna talk about this one for a minute, just because there is so many great songs on it. And of course, it's a gatefold 2-album set. And one of the things I always laugh about is this is what was considered long hair for a while. And I remember my dad getting mad at me when my hair got that long, you know. And
right.
And I tried to get him to buy me some Beatle boots, and he finally said one day, "Well, let's go up to the shoe store and take a look." And he took me up to the shoe store, and I pointed them out. All my friends had Beatle boots, you know, and I pointed them out, and he goes, "I'm not buying you those fairy boots." Farmer from Texas was not going to buy me those fairy boots. But anyway, when I started reading these songs when I first bought this, Strawberry Fields Forever, Penny Lane, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, With a Little Help from My Friends.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, a lot of these songs I just read could be on the top 10 list. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, A Day in the Life, All You Need Is Love, I Am the Walrus, Hello Goodbye, The Fool on the Hill, Magical Mystery Tour, Lady Madonna, Hey Jude, Revolution. That's just one of the two. That's one of the two albums. I mean, you could get by with this if this was all you had. Back in the USSR, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, Obla Dee, Obla Da, Get Back, Don't Let Me Down, The Ballad of John and Yoko, Old Brown Shoe, Here Comes the Sun, Come Together, Something, Octopus's Garden, Let It Be, Across the Universe, and The Long and Winding Road. I mean, that is like the list of top 10 plus, you know.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, this is just such a great album. And I mean, these are really once again, I don't know how I've gotten so lucky on some of these later purchases, but once again, when I pull this vinyl out, I mean, there's not a mark on it. I mean, it plays perfect, no pops or, you know, anything like that. I mean, it's super clean. It plays both these albums, you know. Okay, so that was the blue album. I didn't get the red album as early as I got the blue album, but when I did, I got kind of lucky when I came across it used. Let's see, is this going to go in here or not? Okay, so I've got to show you the red compilation because well, you'll see as soon as I pull it out.
Okay.
This is the red compilation, Beatles songs. And the thing that's really cool about this one, well, the songs, of course, that's number one. Jeez, can't even get the albums out. But what's also cool about the red album is the red vinyl.
Nice.
1978 red vinyl.
Wow.
That's gorgeous.
And pretty. I mean, pretty transparent. I mean,
nice.
If I flipped you a bird through this, you'd see it and be pissed off.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah. They make the blue album this way too.
I like the red label. That's really cool.
Isn't that cool?
It is.
Yeah. That really is cool. So this is also a double album set in red, 1978 pressing, which is pretty damn old, you know. And that was the first time they pressed it in color. And now what I'm going to do is look at some of the songs because these compilations are just great. I read the songs off the blue album, and it was like everything that was on the top 10 was on there, plus a whole lot more. So let me get this in the cover here. Okay, so what we have here is we don't have the names of the songs is what we have. So I guess I'm going to have to pull this out because I want to see if the songs on this are as good as on the blue one. So here we go. All right. Looks just like the blue one inside. Look at the same picture. And again, we got Love, Love Me Do, Please, Please Me, I Want to Hold Your Hand, All My Loving, Can't Buy Me Love, A Hard Day's Night, And I Love Her, 8 Days a Week, I Feel Fine, Ticket to Ride, Yesterday, You've Got to Hide Your Love Away, We Can Work It Out, Day Tripper. I love that song, Day Tripper. That's a great song. Drive My Car, Baby, You Can Drive. Okay, Norwegian Wood, Nowhere Man. He's a real nowhere man. Michelle, In My Life, Girl, Paperback Writer, Eleanor Rigsby, and Yellow Submarine. Yeah. So that's the songs on the red album. There's just great songs there. Let's see, what haven't I shown yet? Okay, I've got a Parlophone pressing, original UK Parlophone pressing of Help.
Nice.
Love
and then last but not least is my 4-album box set, you know.
Oh.
These have been out there for a long time now, but this has got, I mean, it's got everything on it, you know. I mean, back in the USSR, Dear Prudence, Obla Dee, Obla Da, the continuing story of Bungalow Bill, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, Rocky Raccoon. I haven't mentioned that. No, nobody's mentioned Rocky Raccoon left yet tonight. That's a cool song.
Yeah.
Birthday, Helter Skelter, Revolution 1, Revolution 9, Honey Pie. I'm skipping. Back in the USSR, Wow. Happiness is a warm gun. Blackbird. Sexy Sadie. Revolution. Honey Pie. Let's see. Anyway, there's great songs on there. That's pretty much what I have for the Beatles. I have one big box, one of those big cardboard boxes with the corners snapped together that they sell for albums, and that whole box has Beatles, Stones, and Led Zeppelin, just those three bands, and it's pretty full, you know. And so I'll be ready for another, you know, probably like a Jimi Hendrix unboxing or something. Anyway, go ahead, Scott. Looks like you're getting ready to pull something up.
I have this.
Okay. Wow.
That's Hey Jude.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
That's the Hey Jude EP.
Oh,
Okay.
cool. That's nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yep. So it's got Hey Jude, Revolution, Paperback Writer, I Should Have Known Better, Lady Madonna, Can't Buy Me Love, Don't Let Me Down, Ballad of John and Yoko, Rain, and Old Brown Shoe.
Right. Nice.
Kind of cool, you know. I like this.
Oh, yeah.
I think the cover is awesome. I love that cover.
I know. I like that cover a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I have, you know, Magical Mystery Tour. I have, you know, Abbey Road. I have the Beatles' second album.
Oh, good.
You know, which is cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
No,
like
that is cool.
This is a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Those are great albums.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. I have all the Beatles stuff on CD, like when they were reissued. I worked at EMI for a time, so
Right.
when I worked there, I got, like, you know, a lot of stuff, Capitol and things like that. I got a lot of their you know, reissues and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I have,
Okay.
yeah. Yep.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got some great stuff there.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Okay.
I said, I mean, like, I'm definitely more a Stones fan than a Beatles fan. Beatles are amazing. I love them.
Yeah.
But, you know, definitely have more Stones catalog. And when I was growing up, definitely like into Some Girls and Hot Rocks and
Oh, yeah.
the
Yeah.
records
It's
and
great.
Get Your Yayas Out and all that kind of
Right.
stuff.
Get your yayas out. I need to get that. I had that as an 8-track, and then I think as a CD later, but I don't have it on vinyl. There's so many Stones and Beatles albums out there. I mean, the
Totally.
Stones have a huge catalog. It
Huge.
just goes and goes and goes. And
Yeah.
two of the albums I don't have by the Stones are the two concerts I went to see, Bridges of Babylon and oh God, what was the other one? I'll think of it in a minute. But I've said it so many times.
I just got this Some Girls Blu-ray, and
Okay.
that's amazing.
Is it?
Show. It's
Wow.
so good, so good. If you
Yeah.
haven't seen it, you should check it out. I'm sure you can, like, you know, call it up on YouTube and see some of it or
Right.
whatever. But the Blu-ray press of it's really amazing. The sound is sick. Bob Clearmountain did the sound for it, and just
Wow.
really, really awesome to have. I mean, Some Girls is my favorite Stones record. I guess that's showing and telling of my age, you know, since I'm born in 1967. So, you know, when Some
You
Girls,
know.
when I was 10, you know.
You know, the funny thing about Some Girls is I have 2 copies of it. I realized that you had to have the yellow hair to maybe have like a more original pressing, right? When you slid it in and out the cover.
Right.
And so I finally came across one. Mine didn't have that, and the no yellow hair. So when I finally came across one with the yellow hair, I bought it. I've
That's
got both of them now. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
I also have both. I have the newer version of Sticky Fingers, you know,
Oh,
the
love that
nice
record.
new one that came out the last year or so. But then
Nice.
I came across one at a store, antique store, that had the functioning zipper, you know, and I had to buy that. So I have 2 of those now too, you know. And
Great.
I found one before at a little store here in town. It's a really good vinyl store. Most of the time, everything's really, really clean. But this one I opened up, and they wanted close to $30 for it, and it was just scratched to shit. I mean, you were buying it for the zipper cover. And I took it up there to talk to the guy about it, and he goes, "You know, you're just buying that for the cover."
Right.
And I go, you know, you're right. And I wound up not buying that one. You know, it's like I want to be able to listen to it too, not just to show off as the cover with the zipper.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. So speaking of Rolling Stones, you know, I have I can't show you all of them. Maybe that'll be for another time, but I have a lot of really good Rolling Stone records. And actually, I think I need to double check it, but I do think I have the original pressing to their album Emotional Rescue.
Cool. Oh, really? Yeah.
It's beat up though. I found that. I think I found that one in that Bizarre Bazaar in Fort Collins.
Gotcha.
It's a record store that where college students go to. That's very cheap, affordable. I love it. They have sales. Sometimes they give away free vinyl on Tuesdays.
Oh.
And so it's beat up, but the record is just fantastic. I'm like, you know, it's just like when they released a song like Emotional Rescue, it was like still a little bit of rock, but I really like the style of funk they had in it.
Right.
And the way, you know, Mick Jagger sings is like, you know, he sings like in this high pitched voice, and it's amazing. And
no, it is amazing.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting.
You know, he still sounds really good. I mean, he's really got to be up there in years too.
I've seen videos so far. I mean, he's still out there doing.
Oh, the way he moves around on stage, absolutely. Yeah, I saw Rod Stewart last year in concert.
Oh man, I would love to see Rod Stewart.
Yeah, right here at Vina Robles, where Alice Cooper's coming with Ace Frehley, you know, in April. And anyway, it's a pretty small venue too. There aren't any really bad seats, you know. And anyway, I saw I'm sorry. I saw other concerts at Vina Robles Winery. I saw Rod Stewart at the Santa Barbara Bowl in Santa Barbara. That's right. And that place is a trip. You talk about parking, you got to park in just some residential neighborhood that you just got to drive around and you find a spot. They don't have shit for parking there. But Rod Stewart had broken his foot playing soccer. He had a cast on his foot, but he still wanted to kind of do what he could as far as, you know, moving around on stage and stuff like that. And from what I understand, the next couple of shows he did, he had to sit down because he was so sore from that night trying to do a little dancing and stuff with the cast on his foot. But that was a really good show, though. Rod Stewart is actually pretty damn good. You know, I like that guy.
No, I think he's got some lawsuit against him now. I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think. Oh man, well, was he and his son? I don't know which one. I can't remember. But apparently they beat up a security guard or something outside of a hotel for no reason. And yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was earlier this year that he and his son were in trial for that, and I think they're scheduled to be sentenced.
Okay.
Or there might be a trial coming up for it. So
that's crazy.
It's nuts. I'm like, why would you do that? It's like, what do you do to you? You know.
Hey, let me see if anybody knows an answer. Some of the guys in the chat, like Bill K, he said, "What's the album with the Beatles in lab coats? And do I have a copy?" And no, I don't have a copy, Bill. Do you guys know what the name of that album is when they're in the white lab coats?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I've seen it, but I can't think of what the name of it is either. He's wondering if it's Meet the Beatles. It could be Meet the Beatles.
Yeah, it could be. It could very well be.
Yeah. Then Robbie Detroit's saying something about the Yesterday and Today album, and that's basically what he's talking
about. Are you talking about the Butcher album?
Well, I was wondering, maybe it is the Butcher album where they've covered up all the babies that are being butchered and stuff with another cover.
Yeah, Yesterday and Today, you mean?
No, I'm not sure which. No, well, I refer to it as a Butcher cover, like you just said.
Yeah, but isn't it Beatles Yesterday and Today?
I think it is. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's the record.
Yeah, they wrapped all the covers like in some plain paper or a newspaper.
Probably can't see this because of the light or whatever. Forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm pulling up on my phone.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
No, I don't have that. I don't have that album.
Okay.
No.
Right. Yeah, Bill K is saying yes, the Butcher cover. Here, that was just a pressing that they laid over the cover a new cover basically over the old cover. But yeah, I've seen that. And sometimes you find that and you can see people where people have torn back the edges trying to see if it's, got the old cover underneath it. I've seen that a few times.
That's crazy.
I know. Let's see. Bill K said, "Thanks, Robbie. I know it's an expensive album now, $2,000. So they must be talking about that Butcher cover again, right? I think that's pretty rare."
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to eBay now to research it.
Yeah. See if you can get one before the word gets out, right?
No, just to know anyway.
Yeah. Well, I never got to see the Beatles in concert. And of course, they broke up in 1970. I was still in high school, but the concerts were coming around. We saw a lot of concerts out at the Las Vegas Convention Center. I mean, I saw Ozzy Osbourne out. Well, he was Black Sabbath then. In Chicago. I can't even think of
I
it.
love Chicago.
I know. They were a great band.
I have them on vinyl too.
I told a story last week. I'm getting looser with the stories I tell as I get older, so they don't really give a shit anymore. But there's a lot of stories I wouldn't tell in my youth, especially trying to start a business and stuff,
Right.
be accepted by the public. But when I was 17 years old, I went to a Chicago concert at the Las Vegas Convention Center, and you couldn't have had seats further from the stage, and I'm not exaggerating. We were all the way up as high as you can get with our back up against the wall. There was nobody behind us. And we'd been, partying on the way out and stuff, doing what we do at that age. And I looked at my friends and I said, I'm going to go find a better seat, And I remember kind of holding on to people as I walked down the aisle, the people that were on the corner, the end seats, to keep from falling. And okay, so I don't know how much time goes by, but all of a sudden my eyes pop open and I'm staring at a brightly lit room. All the big lights were on up at the top of the, stadium ceiling, whatever. And I'm like, where am I? What the hell's going on here? And I started to slowly look around, and there were people pushing big rolling trash cans, and they were sweeping and cleaning up. And I was laying on 5 seats in the front row. And so, yes, I found better seats, but I missed the concert.
That's great.
At least you found the seats.
It happens. It happens. I've been with people that have totally fell asleep during shows, like
right.
Show, and I'm like, I don't know how you fell asleep during Slayer.
Right, turn so loud.
But you have completely missed the show. Yeah, one friend I was with, we went to go see the Allman Brothers at the Beacon when they used to play the Beacon Run all the time in the city. One of the shows we went to, I think it was probably the early 2000s or something like that, 2002 or 3 or whatever. Derek Trucks was playing guitar. I mean, how can you fall asleep? I mean, the Allmans are mellow, but they jam.
Yeah.
I don't know how you fall asleep during a show.
No.
You fell asleep during the whole second act, because they do a break or whatever. They do one set and they go.
That's great. Right.
During the whole set, like I don't get it.
Yeah. No, you see some stuff. You see some pretty wasted people at concerts too.
Oh yeah.
Now, I've seen people taken out, completely on the stretcher.
Oh yeah.
All fucked up, drunk, throwing up,
right,
on ecstasy.
Oh yeah.
All of it.
All of it.
I'll tell you a crazy story. So I'm not a Grateful Dead fan by far, right?
Right.
But like I had to go see them because my wife was a fan and did the whole Deadhead scene thing, in her teens and earlier and stuff. So I think it was like 93 before Jerry passed away. They played Giant Stadium. So I had to go see them. I'm like, okay, I'll go with an open mind. I'll check it out or whatever. So I went, and during Drums in Space, it was very, very high, and went up to the bathroom. I didn't really eat that day too much. I was trying to be a waif at the time, and I passed out, and they actually brought me back to where they had a recovery room. But what was really scary though is that there's people like I was fine, like, you know, I just happened to faint and I came to and I'm like, good, you know, like was kind of in and out for a minute, you know. They gave me water and food to eat and stuff like that. Like they have like food in the back or whatever. But there was people though that were there that were like, and I was probably like, I had to be 24 at that time. These people are like in their 60s, like tripping really hard and freaking out, like, oh, you know, like, and I'm like, I'm in a freaking mental patient ward. It was just crazy. That was a really weird scene.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, wow. So there's definitely like some crazy stuff that, you know, happens at concerts and people being taken out. I've seen a lot of stuff or whatever, but that was a really weird situation, like to actually be back in the recovery room, you know. I miss Drummond's face though. That was the only thing I really wanted to see, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
Oh my God. You know, Robbie, I think Robbie got a kick out of my Chicago story.
Oh, about falling asleep and
yeah, falling asleep, getting a better seat, but missing the show. But anyway, thanks, Robbie. Robbie Detroit's got, you know, Tiger Man vinyl, and it's going to be an all Elvis show, and he's starting to get started. Excuse me, let me let one of my dogs out of the room here.
I wasn't sure if it was mine. I was like, I hear that barking. I'm like, which song is that?
I know, right? It's not yours.
Well, my dogs are this, but my dogs are going off because I'm the only one home. My wife and daughter went to see my daughter's daughter in a play in San Luis Obispo. It's really funny because when I was doing the show on Saturday night, everybody had conflicting schedules and stuff. So I moved to Friday night. And I think the conflicting schedules got even worse, you know. And so here I am, and Betty and I both talked too. There's a lot of stuff to do on Friday and Saturday night, you know, even especially this time of year. There's all this holiday stuff going on.
Right.
In fact, we were down in, and this will come up in a couple of weeks now. I've been doing these little travel vlogs in between vinyl unboxing, and last week I did one on you know, the Oceano Dunes. Oceano and Grover beaches, where you can drive out on the beach and bring your quads, and there's people down there that trailer in just, you know, 100 quads to rent out, and dune buggies, and people are going all over the dunes, you know. And with the way the wind blows, the shifting dunes, the dunes tend to shift into the neighboring oceanfront homes and just fill the streets up, and everything with sand. And so they've been trying to put a stop to all that for years, but they haven't been able to. But it's been pared back a lot. They've limited how much space you can go riding on. But it's kind of a fun time. We had fun when my kids were little, going out there a few times and renting quads and stuff. And so I made a video on that, and it aired on Tuesday. I made another one while I was down there on Shell and Pismo Beach. It'll be out next Tuesday. And then last night we were down in Solvang, which was is the Danish capital of the United States. And it was founded in like 1990 by Danish immigrants. And I mean, it looks like you're in, you know, Copenhagen, you know, the architectural style with windmills everywhere. And it's considered one of the top 10 Christmassy places in the United States. So
cool.
We went down there and made a little travel vlog. Fits into my series of tours of famous places and why we love the Central Coast, which is kind of a little bit more of my real estate promotion. But just letting everybody know that we know the whole area, you know. I mean, we're from Carmel to Santa Barbara as far as the area. We get around. But anyway, so yeah, so I'm excited about that. It'll be kind of a Christmas show, you know. It won't be for a couple of weeks. Well, a little over a week. And so there was a car. I mean, it was all decorated for Christmas. Solvang, the Danish capital of the United States, all decorated for Christmas in the San Ynez Valley, probably a 10-minute ride away from the Neverland Ranch, Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch. I want to go do that too. But anyway, I got to wait till my moonwalking's a little more up to speed, you know, because I want to moonwalk out front. Anyway, so that's going to be a fun one, that Solvang one. You know, it ended with me saying my goodbyes in front of a great big windmill. And we did it at night when all the lights were on. And there was this massive stage, you know, with this Christmas play going on. And the singing was excellent. and they were just going through the whole, birth of Christ and all this stuff and singing songs. And there was multiple stages, and a different something different would come out of a different stage, and people were singing, and sometimes the audience was joining in, and it was actually fun. I mean, it's probably just by the time I finish editing it and throwing out all the shaky filming and stuff, it'll probably be 10 minutes long. The travel vlogs are always short. I mean, 18 minutes is a long travel vlog. But anyway, so those will be coming. I try to put those out Tuesday night. I don't even know anymore what a good night for a podcast is. I think everybody's experimenting right now. I watch some of the other shows, and all the numbers and views are way down, unless it's something really spectacular. I mean, you get Gene Simmons on. Well, he's got his own 10 million fans that are going to watch it.
Yeah.
And then you get these great views. But if it's just with the exception of those kinds of things, the viewership is down on all the shows. And I think what I attribute it to is everybody was kind of locked down, when COVID was reaching its peak and getting so bad. And so people were sitting home. They weren't going to the clubs and the pubs that they were used to going to and meeting their friends. And we had a place like that here in town for years where Betty and I would go. And if you went down there on a Friday or Saturday night before the night was over, everybody you knew walked in to buy a drink, And it was just a fun place to hang out. It was a great restaurant, had a sushi bar, had a lounge and a bar. And sometimes it'd be open mic night, and people would just take turns getting up and singing and playing guitars or whatever, And they'd have little concerts there too. And it was just a really fun place. And then you could walk to the other places that were nearby, just for the heck of it, see who's there, check them out, see who's playing music and stuff like that. So, that's what people like to do. They like to get together with their friends, go out to dinner. And the prime nights are Friday and Saturday night. So with things opening back up and people being able to go back out to the restaurants, go back out to the clubs, it seems like you're not getting as many people watching now. I remember some of the shows we were on before where we would get 100 likes, 100 likes during the show. I mean, it's like unheard of now,
Yeah.
But anyway, so I thought go ahead.
No, definitely. I mean, things are, when the pandemic first hit, there was a lot of online activity where people aren't going out and stuff. And now,
Right.
Things are opening up and people are going back out. So there's a lot less activity. I wouldn't say totally it stopped, but definitely like a diminish in everything.
Yeah.
Whether it's YouTube podcasts or it's things that are going on, on Twitch, for DJs and stuff like that too. Like definitely people are like actually going out now. But who knows what's going to end up happening with this new variant and stuff.
Exactly.
Well, I know that's what I've been kind of worried about is are we gonna have another one of these things where it gets just like it was before?
I don't think it's going to go back into another lockdown or
anything. I don't think so. I don't think that people would tolerate it.
I think so.
I don't think that's going to happen, but unfortunately, what does happen is that like you have people that don't want to get vaccinated, and then you have these third world countries and other places like Africa where there's only 6% of the people that are vaccinated, and maybe more people would want to be vaccinated if it was available to them, but they can't get vaccinated. So then the COVID-19 is doubling or tripling and becoming another variant, and it's like never going to be able to get rid of any of the variants if everyone doesn't get vaccinated. So it's a kind of catch-22.
That's how I'm feeling. I mean, at first I didn't want to get vaccinated, neither did Betty. Then I had to have an operation on my eyes. I've got glaucoma, and they were trying to ventilate my eyes better, because if they don't, the pressure would build up and it damages your optic nerve. And that's irreversible, so we take these eye drops just to prevent it from getting any worse. And I could still read between 20/20 and 20/25 in both eyes. And my left eye is great, but my right eye, I kind of have more like a tunnel vision, I don't have great peripheral with my right eye. Mm-hmm. So we don't want that to get any worse. And so anyway, so they poke all these holes in your eyes with this laser, like 100 or more, you don't even hardly feel it really, but they are really right up against your eye, and it's like a punch kind of a thing, And but it doesn't really hurt. Might sting a little bit for not much though. Hardly even noticeable, to be honest with you. So anyway, when I wound up getting it because of that, I wound up getting my shots, and then Betty was going to go to her sister's in Texas, and so she wound up for similar reasons, going ahead and getting vaccinated. And I don't have any regrets. I wasn't going to do it. I probably got 2 flu shots in my whole life, and I read somewhere that there's heavy metals in the flu shots, and there's some evidence that heavy metals lead to dementia and Alzheimer's. And my mother had a really bad case, and she had to come to live with us for 5 years. It got to the point where she couldn't talk, didn't know our names, didn't know who we were, and all of that stuff, And so once I read that, whether it was true or not, I didn't want anything to do with flu vaccinations. And to me, this was a kind of a bigger flu vaccination in a way, with some of the same types of stuff in it. And I wasn't going to get it, And It's funny because I went to my doctor one time, and he says, "Did you get your flu vaccination?" And I said, "No, I didn't." He goes, "Well, why not?" And I go, "Well, I heard that the heavy metals lead to," and he goes, "I feel the same way." It's like, what the hell are you urging me to get that for if you feel the same way, So anyway, so I don't get those. I didn't want to get this, but I got it. I don't have any regrets. I'm not real excited about running down to getting a booster and adding to it. But I guess what's funny is, like, when we were kids in school, we went and got our shots, told that's what we're supposed to do. We lined up, walked through and got our shots, and just, maybe they put a little Band-Aid on it, maybe they didn't, depending on how big the needle was. But you never thought twice about it. Then you're getting ready to get another shot, and you ask your buddy, "Well, what's this one for?" It's called a booster. And they were just the same thing. We'd had the shot before, but now they're giving it a boost because they don't last forever, Right. And but for some reason, all of that's gotten a really bad name, And I think a lot of it's political. It had to do with the last election and things like that. Yeah. But yeah.
I mean, I think that it also depends too on, like, the 6 degrees of separation with people. Like, I feel like that there's a lot of people that don't want to get vaccinated, that nothing's happened in their circle. Like, everyone's healthy or whatever. Like, as soon as you see somebody dying that's close to you, you're like, "Oh shit, maybe I need to go and take this." I mean, my dad had polio when he was 14 years old, and right before the vaccine came out. And he's going to be 83, and he's completely vaccinated with the booster. And he's like, "Why wouldn't you take it?" It's like,
right.
Like, if I would have been able to take a polio vaccine, I would have. You know what I mean? So that's the thing, is that, like, it's protecting you, it's protecting other people. Yeah. I'm sorry, but I still want to go to concerts. I want to still do stuff. I want to go and fly. I want to do live my life. And if you don't, if you want to be unvaccinated and you want to all of a sudden end up in the hospital,
right?
They have all this footage now of people that are in the hospital that are like, they're in the hospital because they're unvaccinated, and then they're talking to them like, "Oh, are you going to get vaccinated now that you've been in the hospital?" They're like, "No, I'm not going to get vaccinated." They're like, "I should be good now," and it's like, "Oh, okay, well." Whatever, I mean, honestly, I don't want to end up on a ventilator. And
no, I don't either. I've had the pomo. I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna tell you guys, like, I'm fully vaccinated, and the only reason I was stubborn at first because I think I was just scared, scared because of this whole COVID thing, scared of hearing the media portray of how good or evil the vaccine is. I just got scared, and it kind of stopped me at first from getting it. But then I'm on the medication now for my evil. I'm calling this evil arthritis, and that's what it is. And it weakens my immune system. And I'm like, and my doctor and my rheumatologist go like, "Hey, you have a weak immune system now. You should really consider, getting this vaccine." And I thought about it, and I'm like, okay, I gave in after that. I don't want it. I don't want COVID. But sadly, probably right after my second dose of the vaccine, Royce knows this, I actually caught COVID.
What do you need?
And it was fine. It was a mild case, but it kicked my rear end. I am not kidding. I was
Right.
Were
this
you
huh?
were you vaccinated when you got it?
Yeah, I was like before I started showing symptoms, I was back at Safeway getting my second
Second
vaccine.
shot. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Was
So I
that like Moderna or Pfizer? One of those two, right? Because
Pfizer.
Johnson was the one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I got Pfizer.
Well,
But
you know, no, go ahead.
and the only reason I caught is because my sister brought it home and she didn't isolate.
Right. Well, you know, my youngest daughter who lives with us.
She brought it home and the three of us got blessed with it, and we just couldn't pass out candy or anything. But I'll tell you what, it's probably the most complicated virus I've ever felt. You know, it's like a mixed bag. One day you have this symptom. Oh, guess what? New symptom. Next day you're like, what am I expecting next? But I don't recommend it. I feel bad for those who lost lives, lost family members, just friends over this virus.
Right.
It's evil. But I'm very thankful that my siblings and I'm very blessed to be able to fight it off at home. Plus, I was actually, because of my weak immune system, I was eligible for a antibody infusion.
Oh, wow.
Just to help me to kick the symptoms, going away quicker. And boy, did it work. So it's like the fusion stays in the body for at least like 6 months. So it's
well, you know what's crazy is like my daughter who lives with us got it. And it was during the summer and their kids were here, they were all here too, a boy and a girl. And so as far as we know, none of us got it. And I mean, of course, they just come out with like not just come, but maybe 6 months, 8 months earlier. Betty and I both have our real estate license, and they came out with these COVID protocols. And you had, you got your pictograph you had to put on the front door that showed everything you were supposed to do. Before we could show a house, we had to go through and completely wipe it, all the handles and all the things, door handles and doorknobs and cabinet handles and toilet levers. We had to wipe all that down with antiseptic wipes.
Yeah.
And then keep a log when we did it. And then when these people show up, we got to log them in. And when they leave, we have to go through and wipe everything down again and, enter the time that we did that, And it's kind of hard when you've got you're showing a house to 3 or 4 different people a day, There's a lot of wiping things down. But I was used to that, and because we had a couple of back-to-back deals back then. And so the whole time Nicole had it, and she's living here, I'm running through the house with these antiseptic wipes, and I'm doing doorknobs and refrigerator handles and countertops and, several times a day. And as far as I know, either we didn't have symptoms or we never got it,
Right.
And I don't know. I was talking to somebody just yesterday, and they were telling me that when COVID started to get bad, they decided to go back, you go down and you donate blood at the blood bank. They started sampling all the blood samples, and they were finding COVID way before anybody was talking about COVID, finding it in the blood supply, And it makes me wonder, did a lot of us already have it, not even know? Because there was no, I mean, how long has it really been out there? I don't know.
I've definitely had 6 symptoms years ago where I've lost taste of smell, and who knows? I mean, my both kids had COVID,
right?
And
who knows?
They got tested and they had it, and we didn't get it. I mean, we got tested and we quarantined, did the whole thing before the vaccine. This is last November 2020. So I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe we were
I wonder because I went through a
or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I cannot tell you how weird it was.
I went through a long period of time after
that was just so weird. It's like we all had COVID, so we were just carving our pumpkins together, and it's so weird because you have that pumpkin-y smell, but I couldn't smell that at all.
Right.
I couldn't, so I couldn't taste it. I could feel the texture of food. I just couldn't taste it. It was so weird. It was one of those weird things.
There's a couple of interesting things in the chat. Bill K has been involved in some cool stuff. Worked with some different venues and cool concerts, and he had a girlfriend. They wish she'd married. He said she toured with Journey as
Yeah.
head of the merchandise in the mid '80s. That's cool, Bill. And then Robbie Detroit says they gave him an experimental anthrax shot in Desert Storm, and that contributed to our Gulf War syndrome. He's saying,
That's
and
crazy.
I'm sure that's probably been proven. And Bill K was reminding me that when they give us boosters as little kids, they were the polio boosters, and Bill's had all 3 vaccines. And Robbie's had, the COVID shots, hasn't affected him at all, and mine hasn't affected me at all either. I never felt anything. I mean, the shot, I felt a little bit of soreness at the spot that they gave me the shot, but it was like a nothing thing, right? I mean, you go to the gym and work out, you're more sore than that, right? And let's see, what else do we have here? Robbie's got the booster shot.
Oh, speaking of that, Royce,
Bob had both COVID shots plus the booster. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so I had to go get tested for COVID because I was having that extreme fatigue at first, and so while I was
Yeah.
getting tested, it was like right after my second shot, I have this huge welt on my arm where the second
Oh, wow.
vaccine was administered, and so the funniest thing is, this is the same
Really?
doctor I went to. Yeah, yeah, it's like it was red. It wasn't red; it was like pink. It was just really angry, and so this is the best part because
Wow.
I went to urgent care to get tested, and I showed him the arm, and the doctor goes, "Oh, it's just pissed off. Give it another week." Oh, it was funny. It's like, I don't know what to do about this. He goes, "Oh, it's just pissed off. It's fine." But
Yeah. What's crazy right now is depending on where you go, either everybody has a mask on, or half the people are almost nobody has a mask on. It's
temperature
just
checks.
kind of do what you feel comfortable with, kind of a thing right now. And like I'll go into Home Depot and I'll say like 50%, or maybe more than 50% will have it on, and then the rest of them won't. And of course, you go into a restaurant, you walk in with it on, then take it off when you sit down. And I don't know. I don't even know anymore. I'm tired of all of it. I mean,
well, I was
it's like
yeah, the nurse. I had.
Well, it's like the whole herd immunity. Just let everybody go out and just do their thing. But I mean, the death toll was really getting out of control. And we would have all been better off if everybody had gotten their shots right away. Maybe we wouldn't be dealing with any variants right now.
The nurse who was
I don't
helping with
know.
the fusion, she told me that she's just tired of COVID running our lives. She's just tired of it.
Right.
She said it was just being nice to go back to the year before all this happened and stay that way. But
Right.
Right. That, of course, doesn't happen. So, but I understand her feeling.
Yeah.
And I know the healthcare workers, kudos to them. They're heroes. They're overwhelmed. I mean, here in Colorado,
Right.
How many traveling nurses have arrived at our hospitals? It's bad. I mean, it's like a lot
Really?
of staff. Yeah, a lot of nurses and doctors have quit. There's traveling nurses. There's some new doctors.
Wow.
It's a lot of hospitals are still short staffed. So it's just awful.
Yeah,
but
no, that's exactly right. It was completely out of control. Early on. I mean, you remember when Cuomo used to come on every night from New York and talk about how they need another 160,000 ventilators or something, and I don't know, it was insane, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's just, but you gotta remember too, we're in history now, so it's just amazing to hear what the future will ask about this. So it's just being part of history at the same time. But it's not easy. It's not fun. I'm kind of tired of it, personally.
Right.
Because right now, it's like I'm trying shopping online. I'm not going out there. I mean, yeah. I mean, I know I'm safe, but I really want to go out and hang out with people and Christmas shop right now. No.
Right.
Yeah, I'll just order from Amazon. Thank you.
Right. Well, Scott disappeared again.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if he's having technical difficulties or what, but I think we're about ready to close it down here anyway.
Yeah, no, I
So I don't
think
know if you.
let's put it down. You know, it's Sunday night, and we got
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Monday.
yeah, yeah. No,
rolls.
I mean, yeah, we could drag it on for hours if we want to, but I don't see any reason to. We
No,
talked about
it's
the
not.
Beatles,
But
looked at the album.
it's nice to see the lovely, awesome people in the chat here, just keeping
I
things
know,
amusing.
I know.
Yeah,
I love the
guys, you guys
people. I
are
love the people that
awesome.
show up in the chat. You know,
Yeah,
and
bravo to you guys. You guys are awesome. So but
there
yeah,
was a lot of people that told me they were going to come that wound up not coming tonight. But
it
everybody
happens.
gets
You know, things
it
happen.
happens. It happens easily. You know, I mean, I forgot that my granddaughter was at a play tonight where she sings and everything. And this is the granddaughter that sang Beth with Eric Singer. You know,
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah,
cool. Yeah.
and
Okay.
she's got a great voice. And if I hadn't moved to Sunday, I would have gone to that. You know.
Yeah. No, but I really like the change of time though. I think it's too is that even though there are still things going on, there are people at home. Like, look at the people in the chat. The chat's booming.
Yeah,
So I think that's good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it was fun. And here's Scott. Scott kind of made it back in here. Hey, Scott, how you doing, buddy? Well,
What's up?
I want to thank everybody. Robbie Detroit just said, "Great show, guys." Thank you very much, Robbie.
Yeah, thank you,
We
Robbie.
appreciate
Good to see you,
you,
man.
and
Come back.
all of you. Bob and Bill Kay, and I
Okay,
just
love
want
you
to thank
guys.
everybody. Robert Rowe was here for a while, and
Hey, Robert Rowe.
yeah, we really appreciate you guys showing up, having some conversation with us. It really does make the show, as far as I'm concerned. And I want to thank Caitlin and Scott for coming on and helping me. It's always a lot more fun to have help.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
All right.
Scott.
Okay, folks. Well, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody, and once again, thank you. I appreciate everything. And Scott, Caitlin, thank you very much.
Anytime.
You're welcome.
Having said that, good night, you guys.
Good night, Royce. Good night,
Bye,
Kate. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Goodbye.